Welcome to the Mr. Menopause Show, Segments, a series of focused clips pulled from the full episodes of the Mr. Menopause Show, created for women who feel confused, dismissed, or frustrated by the changes happening in their bodies. If you're dealing with symptoms you don't understand, if you're tired of being told, it's just aging, or if you're feeling invisible in your doctor's office, this series is for you. Each segment is designed to give you clear answers, compassionate support, and practical tools that help you feel more informed, more in control, and more confident on your menopause journey. Let's get into it.
All right, welcome back. Now, if segment one gave you the wake-up call, then segment two is going to give you the map. Again, I'm Tafiq Akhir, Mr. Menopause here. You are watching the Mr. Menopause Show on Bold Brave TV. Now, let's go deep into what's really happening inside your body during menopause that impacts your bones and your joints. Not surface level stuff, not just take calcium. This is about the mechanisms, the cause, the cascade. Because if you don't understand what's driving the pain, the stiffness, and the fractures, then how can you ever be expected to manage it? And remember, this is not about memorizing medical terms either, right? This is about knowing your body well enough to advocate, to take action, and to never again be dismissed when you say something feels off. So let's start with the beginning. First, bone is not static, it's alive. So let's bust a myth right off the bat. Your bones are not lifeless structures like those Halloween skeletons hanging in science labs. Bone is living, dynamic tissue. It's constantly breaking down and rebuilding through a process called bone remodeling. And it's not just happening once in a while, it's happening every single day. It's happening right now. Two key players that run the show are osteoclasts, which break down old bone, and osteoblasts, which build new bone in its place. Now, here's where it gets crucial, though, because estrogen is the boss of the operation. It slows down the demolition crew and allows the builders to take time to do their job. Estrogen maintains the balance and the harmony. But when estrogen starts to drop during menopause, well, the demo crew goes into full-blown overtime, and the builders just can't keep up. And that's when bone loss starts to outpace bone growth, leaving your structure weaker from the inside out. And the scariest part is that you don't feel it. There's no pain, there's no warning until one day a sneeze cracks your rib. And that's not drama, right? That's real. It happened to one of my clients and she was stunned. And that's the thing. Bone responds to how you live. If you lift, move, or fuel your body properly, it strengthens. But if you're sedentary, stressed, or depleted, it weakens in silence. It's not about age, it's about awareness, right? You can't fix what you're not even told to look for. And for many women, menopause marks the moment when the balance silently shifts. Next is how hormones control more than just your mood, right? We often hear that menopause is just about estrogen dropping, but that's only the beginning. Menopause triggers a chain reaction across your entire hormonal ecosystem. And those shifts don't just affect your mood, they affect your muscles, your joints, your bones, your energy, and inflammation levels. Estrogen may be the headliner, but she's not the only player in this hormonal symphony. And let's take a look at the rest of the cast. First, progesterone, known for its calming effect, but also helps to regulate inflammation. When it declines, inflammation tends to rise, especially in your joints. Next is testosterone, supporting muscle mass and strength. Less testosterone means less muscle, which means less support for your bones. DHEA helps with tissue repair and resilience. As it drops, your ability to bounce back, well, it decreases as well. Then there's cortisol, right? This is your stress hormone. And when it stays elevated too long, it actually pulls calcium from your bones. And chronic stress, well, it's literally stealing your structure. Insulin, and as estrogen declines, many women experience insulin resistance, right? Which increases systematic inflammation and affects collagen production. And that's a key component, right? A key component of joint and connective tissue. So if you're thinking, why am I waking up stiff, sore, and foggy? Well, this is why. It's not your body breaking down for no reason. It's that your hormonal support system is shifting. Now, pair those changes with poor sleep, less movement, and high stress. Well, that's a perfect storm for joint pain, instability, and fatigue. But here's the empowering part. Once you understand the storm, you can learn how to weatherproof your body against it. Next is the inflammation link that most doctors overlook. Now, let's talk about one of the most powerful and overlooked drivers of pain during menopause, and that is inflammation. When estrogen declines, your body becomes more vulnerable to systematic inflammation, and that inflammation doesn't just hang out in your gut or cause bloating. It finds its way into your joints, your muscles, your ligaments, and even your nerves. And here's the kicker though. Chronic inflammation doesn't always present as a dramatic swelling or redness. It can be subtle, persistent, and painfully ignored. This is how it shows up. Morning stiffness that takes forever to shake off. Joint pain that seems to move around your body. Feeling sore after doing basically nothing. A diagnosis of early arthritis or fibromyalgia that doesn't feel quite right. You might be told it's aging, you might be prescribed medication, but the truth is, this could be hormone triggered inflammation, not a random breakdown. And let's layer in something else: increased histamine sensitivity. Yep, many women develop new allergies, rashes, and unexplained food reactions during menopause, and that's also inflammation. Estrogen helps to regulate histamine responses, and without it, your body can overreact to triggers that never used to bother you before. And this chronic low grade fire in your body slows down healing. It increases fatigue and makes your nervous system more reactive. So if you're feeling raw, itchy, or overly sensitive, your body isn't exaggerating, it's trying to speak up. And unfortunately, most doctors won't connect the dots, but now you can. Understanding inflammation as a menopause issue and not just a general health issue, well, it puts you one step closer to real relief. And next is why strength training is your secret weapon. Now, let's shift gears because we've talked about what's happening to your body. Now, let's talk about what you can do about it. The first answer isn't another supplement or some trendy detox, right? It's something far more powerful. Strength training. See, your bones aren't passive, they're responsive. And what they respond to most is load, weight, resistance, tension. Just like muscles grow stronger with challenge, bones get denser when stimulated through movement. The process is called Wolff's Law. Your bones adapt to the demands you place on them. No demand, they shrink, and consistent, safe resistance, they rebuild. But here's the catch: this doesn't require gym memberships or bodybuilding routines. You can start with small things like lifting your groceries intentionally, using resistance bands at home, climbing the stairs instead of avoiding them, practicing body weight movements like squats or wall push-ups. See, this isn't about aesthetics, it's about longevity. Strong muscles support your joints. They stabilize your spine. They reduce your risk of falling and they boost your metabolism. And all of this starts with telling your body, I'm still here and I still need you. See, the myth that strength training is dangerous or too much for midlife women, well, you need to toss that out because what's truly dangerous is doing nothing while your bones silently lose density. And if you've been taught to shrink, to play small, or to focus only on cardio, it's time to rewrite that script because strong bones require strong muscles. And strength isn't about ego, it's about energy, balance, and independence. And let me tell you, there is nothing more empowering than reclaiming that. Next, we're going to talk lab scans and what to actually ask for. So this is about strategy because knowledge without action, well, it's just noise. And I want to arm you with the actual tests that can help uncover what's really going on inside your body, especially when it comes to your bones and your joints. Start with the DEXA scan. It's the gold standard for measuring bone mineral density. And if you're in menopause or even perimenopause, you should definitely have one on record, period. But don't stop there. Ask for a comprehensive hormone panel that includes estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and DHEA. These all influence bones, muscles, and inflammation levels. Most standard tests skip this half altogether, so you do need to ask specifically for it. Also, request vitamin D or 25-hydroxy because without enough of this, your body can't absorb calcium efficiently. Calcium and parathyroid hormone, or PTH, these indicate how well your body regulates and uses calcium. And then high sensitivity CRP, or C reactive protein, this shows your level of systematic inflammation. And then if it's available, look into NTX or CTX markers, which assess bone turnover activity. Now, if your provider resists or says, oh, that's unnecessary, you have two options: ask why, or find a provider who treats you like a partner and not like a problematic person. Because listen, you're not a nuisance for asking for real responses or for asking questions about what's actually happening in your body, right? You're not being too much for actually wanting more clarity, right? This is your body, this is your bones, this is your future mobility, and you deserve more than a shrug and vague advice, right? The better your data, the smarter your decisions, period. And the more equipped you are to not just survive menopause, the better equipped you are to survive it, to thrive through it, rather. Now, the next part here and the final one in this section is what the emotional cost of not knowing is. So let's step out of the science for a moment and into the emotional reality, because look, data is powerful, but it's not the whole story. I've worked with women who look strong on the outside, but were silently feeling like they're falling apart inside. Not because they're weak or broken, but because they were only told half of the truth about menopause. They don't know what it does to the body, especially the bones and joints. And there's a deep emotional toll to that comes from waking up stiff, aching, or fragile in a body that you used to trust. See, many women describe it as being like a betrayal, like their strength just slipped away without warning. And then when they finally ask for help, they're met with dismissal, or worse, a condescending, oh, that's just aging. But this is not just aging. Again, it's hormonal, it's structural, and it is real. And no one told you that losing estrogen affects your grip strength, your posture, your spine and coordination, even your confidence in your own balance. And when that awareness is missing, it creates fear. It creates self-doubt, and you start to avoid activities that you used to love, like lifting your grandkids, going on hikes, dancing at parties, not because you want to stop, but because your body doesn't feel like it belongs to you anymore. And that is the true cost of silence. But here's the truth: you're not weak, you're not imagining it, and you're definitely not alone. Because when you understand what's happening inside, you can start to feel stronger on the outside. And that emotional shift, well, it's often the first step towards healing. And then it's all about integrating it all. So look, let's take a deep breath and pull all this together, right? Because when it comes to thriving through menopause, knowledge without integration, again, it's just noise. So here's what we've uncovered. Your bones are living, responsive tissue. Estrogen keeps the balance between bone breakdown and rebuild. Inflammation sparked by hormonal shifts is a hidden driver of joint pain. Resistance training isn't optional, it is essential. And you have every right to request the tests that give you real answers. And yes, the emotional cost of not knowing is just as real as the physical symptoms. Understanding these truths is what shifts you from surviving to thriving. It's what turns random symptoms into recognizable patterns, and it's what arms you with the language and the clarity to advocate for yourself like never before. Because this isn't about becoming a bone expert, right? It's about becoming an expert in you, your body, your needs, your plan. And if you're still here, it's not just because you're curious, it's because you're ready. You're ready to stop feeling like your body is a mystery. You're ready to trade confusion for clarity and ready to take action. And that's what the next segment is about. So up next, we're going to explore the how, what to eat, how to move, what strategies actually support long-term joint and bone health without the fluff, without the flair or the fads. You're tuning in to the Mr. Menopause Show live on Bold Brave TV. Again, I'm your host, Tafiq Akhir, Mr. Menopause here. And the most impactful part of this conversation is just ahead. So stay with me.
If this segment helped you feel seen, heard, or just a little more clear, you're exactly where you need to be. This is just one piece of the full conversation. Watch or listen, to the full episode of the Mr. Menopause Show on Bold Brave TV at mrmenopauseshow.com or right here on Mr. Menopause TV for deeper insights, real stories, and the kind of menopause education most women are never given. If you're confused, frustrated, or even afraid of menopause and not sure where to begin, take the free menopause readiness quiz at menopausereadinessquiz.com or click the link in the description for this video to find out what level of awareness you're in and what kind of support might actually help you feel like yourself again. More segments are coming soon, so stay connected. And remember, Mr. Menopause is here to walk alongside you every step of the way.